In March of 2017, Motorola launched two promising smartphones that entered the Indian market's ever-growing sub-15K category. The Moto G5 and the G5 Plus both received praise from critics and consumers alike for their build quality, software and camera performance. The Moto G5 Plus especially was hailed as the best camera smartphone in this price bracket. Almost a year later its launch, the Moto G5 Plus camera holds up well against a lot of its competitors. As we approach March of 2018, there is an anticipation about the Moto G6 and the Moto G6 Plus, which will possibly be launched in March this year. Ever since the launch of the Moto G5 and the G5 Plus, the budget smartphone category has seen the entrance of a lot of smartphones that brought flagship features in this price bracket. Devices like the Moto G5s Plus and the Xiaomi Mi A1 had dual camera setup at the back, while the likes of the LG Q6 and the Honor 7X had a nearly bezel-less design. The Moto G6 Plus might be a mix of both these elements, as Motorola would want to start off 2018 with powerful devices. So, what can we expect from the Moto G6 and the G6 Plus of 2018? Let's find out. Number 1. Pricing. Every brand knows that India is an extremely price-sensitive market and a difference of $1,000 can sway consumer from one phone to another. With that in mind, Motorola might launch the Moto G6 and the G6 Plus with a bit more competitive price tag of about $14,000 for the G6 Plus and $12,000 for the Moto G6. A price of $14,000 with stock Android OS and thin bezels would make the Moto G6 Plus an instant hit, especially when compared to the Xiaomi Mi A1, which has a dated design, and Honor 7X, which has EMUI, which a lot of people don't prefer. But this seems to be unlikely, as Motorola came up with a teaser saying, "Better doesn't always cost more," which means that the Moto G6 and the G6 Plus will retain the price tag same as the Moto G5 and the G5 Plus, which was $15,000 and $17,000 respectively. Number 2. Design. The Moto G6 and the G6 Plus, however, need to have a design overall to compete with modern-day mid-range devices like the Honor 7X. The Moto G6 Plus at least could have an 18:9 display with thin bezels. Motorola could retain the 16:9 aspect ratio on its slightly cheaper model, the Moto G6, but historically Motorola has maintained the same design language for its regular and the Plus model. The company is expected to maintain the same metal build and hopefully retain the iconic Moto dimple. Number 3. Specification. The Moto G5s has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 430 and the G5s Plus was powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon 625 chipset. An incremental upgrade in terms of hardware is expected in the upcoming Moto G6 and the G6 Plus. Qualcomm is expected to launch 3 mid-range chipsets in the coming weeks, the Snapdragon 670, 640 and 460. Motorola could be using the 460 and the 640 in its upcoming Moto G6 and G6 Plus, or it could decide to use the existing Snapdragon 630 for the G6 Plus. The RAM of the device is also expected to receive a bump, while the storage option will more or less remain the same. Number 4. Software. One of the unique selling points of Moto smartphone have been the software experience. Apart from adding a few of its tweaks, Motorola bring out close to stock Android OS on all its phone. The Moto G6 and the G6 Plus won't be any different, and unlike a few OEMs who are still launching devices running on Android 7 Nougat, Motorola will, in all its likelihood, bring Android 8.0 Oreo in the two smartphones. Number 5. Camera. Motorola would want to launch a modern-day mid-ranger, and that means a dual camera setup at the back. The Moto G6 could continue to have a lower price tag and subsequently a single camera setup as well. For the Moto G6 Plus, Motorola is expected to retain the same 13 megapixel dual camera setup, but this time around might offer a wide aperture like f1.8 or 1.9. Conclusion: Moto G5 series of smartphones have been a great entrant in the budget segment, and the Moto G6 and the G6 Plus are expected to take the lineup a notch further. With more smartphones launching in a similar price bracket, the Moto G6 and the G6 Plus would need to have a refreshed modern design and a performance to compete with the likes of the Honor 7X. If you like this video, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and also leave a comment. Are you guys excited about this? But most importantly, hit the red subscribe button, as each and every subscriber matters. With that being said, this is me Rahul from Tech Daily, bidding you guys a bye-bye. Do subscribe